Okay, their tables are built. Here he comes with a throne there. We just need the table to be brought in, and my office is complete for Horston. Right, the chickens are going to go rushing off here to lay some eggs. Right, so if we go for the T menu, which is a menu we haven't used yet, but the T menu is view items in buildings. So if we press the T menu, hello, come on, T please, no. What the hell's happening? I can't seem to be able to press the T. I think, have I got caps lock on? Yeah, I had caps lock on, sorry. T to look at items in buildings, and we can see in this nest box here we have 14 hen's eggs. So this hen's eggs. So this hen has laid 14 eggs. Now automatically what the dwarves will do is they will see that as a food item and they will place it into a stockpile where there is eggs enabled. But we don't want them to collect these eggs just yet, because we're going to use the first batch of eggs to be the hatchlings. We want to hatch some more chickens so that we've got more chickens to lay eggs, and we've also got some chickens to butcher for food. So we don't want them to collect all these eggs, so we're going to forbid these eggs from being collected. We're going to forbid the eggs, not the nest box itself. So these hen's eggs, when you press F to forbid them, they go into brackets, and I think that means that they're forbidden. So the dwarves won't touch the hen's eggs now. We've got 14 hen's eggs ready for hatching. Because we have a rooster, they will be fertilised, and given a certain amount of time, they will eventually hatch into chicks. The other two nest boxes, I will leave them when they get some eggs in them. I will leave those to be collected. 14 chicks seems like enough to me for the moment. If you bear with me, my phone's going off. I'll read that later. Okay, so the nest boxes are continued to be brought there, and another chicken goes on there, and you can see that there's 5 eggs already in that nest box. Not a great deal, to be honest with you. I hope she lays some more. And the final nest box should be eventually placed there, and we should be good to go. So we go downstairs. Oh, pause again. We have something here. Oh boy. Let's press the U key here. We can see wild boars. A herd of wild boars is passing mightily close to our fortress here. I don't think wild boars are going to be completely friendly. Now I do have a dwarf set to go and build a floor there. In fact, she's already here. Oh, yeah, Ullman. Mightily close to these wild boars, so perhaps I should just cancel these floors for now. I don't want her sort of meandering up here when there's wild boar gallivanting about, to be perfectly frank with you. So I think what I'm going to do is take it cautiously and cancel these buildings. Now how do you cancel these buildings off here? B for building. Yeah, I think it was capital C for floors and things. I want to cancel these buildings. Let me have a look here. Is it Q? Is it the Q menu? Q for buildings and designation. Right, we have one floor tile already placed, but let's cancel these. So X is remove building, or S for suspend construction. We won't remove them, we'll suspend them for now. So suspend any floor constructions so that she doesn't come up here and start getting mauled by wild boars. Seems reasonable to me. Okay, so we're going to suspend all of those. All of these are now suspended, so she should sort of venture off downstairs, hopefully. What are these cats doing? Why are my cats gallivanting around wild boar? Eyeing them up, perhaps? I don't know. Very weird. My cats are being nosy. Right, so we have 4 eggs in that nest box. So we have 5 in that one and 14 in that one. It's pretty poor showing, really. They should be producing slightly more than that, I think. Or maybe just look at the draw. Right, okay, so we have... our mason should be doing... Our stoneworker, yeah. Ullman should be now idle because she has no jobs to do. So that's not quite what we want to be seeing. So do I have enough chairs now? I have enough chairs to make the dining room, so I'll get that sorted in a minute. But as we move down to her workshop, there's some more things for her to craft. Surely. Yes, indeed. She's also the mechanic. So let's go to the mechanic's workshop and queue up some mechanisms so that we can start constructing our traps. So A for add new task and T for make rock mechanisms. So we're going to stack up 10 of these, and that should keep her occupied. So off she goes. Again, we have no people idle. We have nobody idle. He's... Okay. How are my miners getting on? Are they mining out this area? Yeah, they're mining out the kitchen area, the dining room area, the food stockpile area. Just taking their time. No urgency about this, I don't think. Right, as we move up to the top level, we go to the building menu. What I'm going to do is I'm going to place down now the chairs around the dining tables. Let's take a look here. C for chair. We have 5 thrones apparently. Okay. Alright, so that should get done sooner rather than later. So we have finished goods bin and a rubber wood bin. Anybody idle? Nobody's idle, they're all doing jobs. It's good. Oops. Constructing mechanisms, farmers planting seeds, our stonecrafter's on a break, as is our woodworker, and also Flossie as well. So it seems to be break time now. Sleep time, break time. Maybe I'm just too much of a slave driver, but I want my dwarves to be doing things. When they're taking a break and messing about, it's just not quite what I want to see. Right. Where are these rhinos? Where are these boars? It looks like they've passed by rather harmlessly. They're in the plains. Are they on the plains? Where the hell are they? Oh no, they haven't passed by. They're still nearby. Oh, they're going south. I wonder if they're going to go off the map. I wonder if animals do go off the map, or will they stay here for an infinite amount of time until they're dealt with? I don't know. I'm not an expert here. Hopefully they're a bit further away, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to try and get this floor built as quickly as possible now. Let's go to the Q menu, and then we can sort of remove suspension. Let's have a look with S, I think. So S now is now marked up for building again. Okay, so I definitely have done this in the most finicky way possible. Not realising I could make one floor and just have done with it, but anyway, you live and learn, eh? So they're now all back on the list of things to do, whilst I keep calling them rhinos. They look like rhinos down here. They look like rhinos to me when I first saw them, so now I've got the rhinos in my bloody head, but they're wild boar. Now that the wild boar are down south, what I'm going to do is I'm going to let Ulnan get to building that floor above our entrance to roof it off. Okay, we've got one idler. Who's idle and what are they doing? Our woodworker has no job, but that's just totally unacceptable, to be perfectly frank with you. So what can we have our woodworker do? I'm sure there is plenty for her to be getting on with whilst we have things that need doing. Right, I don't know how many bins we have, but I think I only queued 5, so if we build 5 more bins, that should see us through with plenty of bins. So if we go A for add task, and is it N again for wooden bins? 5 more wooden bins, job done. So she can crack on with that. We don't want her doing nothing, it's just ridiculous. You, another idle. Who's idle now? It's her. Come on, now she shouldn't be idle. Off she goes to make some wooden bins. Okay. Who's this? Oh, what is she doing? Ulnan, what are you mulling over here? She's mulling over something. Ulnan? On a break. Bloody hell! Is it just me, or are these dwarves lazy? was she doing anyway? Was she constructing mechanisms? Ullman? Ullman dear, stop mulling about and do something, will you? No? Maybe not. Okay, so we get some wooden bins. There we go. He's making some wooden bins. Right, do we have our office constructed yet? Right, there's a building there, that's fine. Yes, we do. What's this? Strawberry seeds bag. Why is that being placed on the chair? I'll have no idea. Right, so now that we have our little office area fully kitted out, what we can do is we can have a look at the setting up the manager, bookkeeper and things. So if we go to the end screen, which I think is nobles and administrators, we've got a list of roles that our dwarves can do, and these roles are sort of noble roles and they serve sort of a higher purpose within the fortress. Anybody that has these roles becomes a noble and they start to become fussy about what they want. Horston is going to be our broker, so if we enter there, I think we can choose him. So we choose Horston to be our broker, we choose Horston to be our bookkeeper. There he is, and we choose Horston to be our manager. Very important dwarf indeed. He has the stats for this. And if we go across here, we can see that he has a red requirement. And if we want to look at that, I believe we can view that somehow. Press enter on it, and you can see that this is what he wants. He's requiring a meagre office. He needs an office to go about his business, to be able to bookkeep and distribute orders as manager. He needs somewhere to do that, so he wants an office. So we have an office constructed with it down here already, with a chair and table sat out for him, a little desk for him to conduct his affairs. So the way we make this into an office for our good friend Horston is, I think, with the trusty Q menu again, and we go to the table. No, we go to the chair, and we press R to make it a throne room or a study. So we press R, and because we don't have a door, it's spilling out a little bit, but we'll rein it in. There we go. And we'll press enter to make it into a study, and then we're going to assign the chair to Horston. So that's Horston's chair, therefore Horston's study, and that should be the office that he needs to conduct his affairs. So if we press the N key again, we can see that no longer is his requirements in red, his requirements have been fulfilled. So he's now the bookkeeper, broker and manager. So now this is a perfect time to look at the stocks screen. Now this is where our stocks are sort of shown. The first screen is like an overview, so we can see how much meat, fish and plants we have, roughly how many foods we have in our stocks, seeds, drink and other items. And because at the start we didn't have a bookkeeper keeping track of what we had, these are all estimates. The dwarves are estimating what stocks we have. Nobody had the time to sit down and look through the figures. They're too busy doing other things. Also our created wealth of our fortress, some, the wealth of all our different bits, imported wealth, and we got something. We've got our population here, what our dwarves are, what types of dwarves we have in terms of labour and things, and military. So that's an overview. Now that we have a bookkeeper, this will become more accurate over time. When he gets time to sit down, Horston, and have a look through all the different stocks and make notes, these will become more accurate, so we can see much more efficiently what we have, and therefore what we might need to build or create in the future. We go to the kitchen area, we can see exactly what we have for our kitchen supplies, so we can see all the different alcohols we have, all the different foodstuffs and the seeds. Whilst I'm here, we can also set what can be cooked and what can be brewed. I'm going to forbid plump helmets from being cooked, because currently plump helmets is shown as being able to be cooked. If we cook plump helmets, we don't get any seeds from them, so we don't want that to happen just yet. If we brew plump helmets, we'll get some seeds back, and I think we also get some seeds back if dwarfs eat plump helmets raw. I think they also get some seeds from that, so cooking them to demolish the seeds, not quite what we need when we're currently starting out and wanting to save as many seeds as we can. So we're going to press C to toggle cook. That puts it into red, so they can't cook plump helmets. Also, in this early stages of the game, we don't want our dwarves to use wine for cooking. Want to use a fancy wine sauce with your meal? Tough. Wine should be used and alcohol should be used for drinking only until we get a surplus of it. So for now we're going to forbid alcohol from being cooked as well. So they're only going to cook the eggs and the prickleberries and the strawberries. Again, we could disable these if you want to keep the strawberry and pickleberry seeds, but to be perfectly frank with you, I'm not really too fussed right now about that. Just make sure that the other stuff is set up. So this is the stocks for the kitchen, and as you can see again, question marks here because these are estimates. These will also be more accurate when the bookkeeper has time to sit down and go through things. Stocks of stone, economic stone, which is economic, which is more useful than most other stone, either because it's a flux stone or because it might be just generally high in value. These are the stones that you want to come across. And then you've got other stone as well, which is everything else. I think you can limit what stones you use for making mugs, for instance. You don't want to be making golden mugs out by mistake, so you can limit different stones from being used for menial things. And the last screen is the stocks screen, which I think I might have moused over earlier. This is a look at everything. So we can see how many eggs we have, plants. And although we have 100 plants, we don't know what type of plants we have just yet. We have about 100 plants, but we don't know what they are. Again, as time progresses with the bookkeeper in place, these will become more accurate. And then on the right hand side of the screen, like here, you'll be able to see a breakdown of in more detail of the seeds, of the drinks. They will all appear here. So that's a little bit about the status screen and what it does. It'll be more interesting to see it once the bookkeeper's had time to sit down and mull over the figures. So Horton's better get to work. So, it's the 6th of Malachite. Malachite. Where's Malachite? It's July. Early July. So we've got about 2 months until autumn. Plenty of time. I'm actually now pretty scared to save it. I don't want to save it and then lose another month and a half, so I'm almost like forced to play out until August. 52 minutes into the session. I want to end the session around about an hour, but if I have to play until August so that I don't lose any more game time, I might just have to do that. Right, we've got one idler. What's he doing? The woodworker has no job and the manager has no job. Well, that's ludicrous. Here, the other bloody bookkeeper, the manager. That reminds me. Now that we have a manager, we can have a look at the manager screen and how to use it to construct items in a much more, well, streamlined fashion, I suppose. So, let's have a look here. Okay, so if we go to the U screen for units and then we press M on the manager screen, because we have a manager now, we can start to order things to be built. So rather than going into every individual workshop and placing orders and using the A to add task and go through that whole rigmarole, we can add orders here through the manager. So if you press Q for new order, and we can just basically type in what we want to create. So mechanisms. Yeah, we could do with another 10 mechanisms. So type in 10, press enter, and then our manager will ensure that in time the relevant person will be tasked out to create 10 mechanisms for us. What else do we need? Well, I think we could do with some rock pots. Now I think rock pots are similar to barrels, but they hold a little bit more. We're going to need plenty of these to brew alcohol and to store foodstuffs. So if we're going to make, say, 10 of them to start with, that's fine. What else? So we got plenty of bins, pots. I will make some barrels. I mean, I think pots serve the same purpose, but barrels I think are a little bit lighter. So if we make a wood barrel, perhaps just make 5 of them to start with. No, let's make 10. Why not? Our woodworker has nothing to do, so we keep her busy. So we get 10 barrels, and we can just literally go through. We can sort of look around the fortress or use the stock screen to look what we're short of, come to the manager screen, and then type in what we need. Now what we do need, I know for certain, is we're going to need a whole host of doors. We've got lots of doorways but no doors, so if we make some rock doors perhaps. Oh, I've done something wrong here. Rock pots, wooden barrels. I've deleted something off. I've pressed R for remove and I don't know what I've removed now. Barrels, pots, bins. Good grief. My mind's gone totally blank. I've made a boob. Anyway, Q for new order, and let's make some rock doors. Okay, so I think the maximum you can make is 30. So if we make 30 rock doors, that should be enough to place doors around the fortress where doors are required. What was the other item that I crafted? Mechanisms, that was it, I think. If we queue for new order, and then mechanisms. Yeah, that was it. And I said, what did I say? Let's go for 15. And I think we can increase the priority of these items. So if we make mechanisms the first priority, because the mechanic is the mason, I think she should get to the mechanisms first, perhaps, if it's a higher priority. And I think pots, and then barrels, and then doors. So that's fine. So that's the manager screen and how we can use it to make our ordering process a little bit easier. Oh yes, rock mugs. Yeah, we're going to need plenty of rock mugs to sell to the trader, so we're going to better get our skates on with that. So queue for new order, rock mugs, and we're going to make 30 of them. So if we enter that, quantity 30 rock mugs. I'm also going to want some things for my traps. Now I'm going to make some traps eventually. We have stonefall traps, which require a mechanism and a stone. Simple enough. But then there are some different weapon traps that we can make. Now the ones that I'm going to be using early on are going to be wooden spike. Here we go. So you got wooden spiked balls. 2 of them for 2 traps. Queue for new order. And wood spike again. Menacing wooden spike. 2 of them. So we're going to have 2 weapon traps, a spike wooden ball trap and a menacing wooden spike trap. And then there's another type of trap we can use early on, is a cage trap. So if we queue new order and make a wooden cage, 2 of them as well. So that should be 8 traps. 2 cage traps, 4 weapon traps and 2 stonefall traps. So that's our trap situation sorted. Okay, so that's the manager screen. So we've got plenty for our dwarves to do now, so any idlers will be put into immediate action when the manager allocates the jobs to them. What's this flashing here? Why is this flashing? We've got plump helmet spawns on the floor. Ah, we go, the farmers put them in a bag for us. Lovely. Right, so let's have a look. So as you can see, our manager has allocated the tasks, and now our woodworker is making the barrel. Horston himself is making the rock pots, and yeah, so it's working nicely. How are our chickens doing?
Sir, there's some more dwarves that have arrived.
Oh,
excellent. Hopefully someone brought a cat. I love cats. Delicious.
So we have some migrants. The first migrant wave. Whoa, right. Let me get my bearings then, shall I? First of all, I'm going to see where these rampaging boars are. Have they been moved? Yes, they're still about. There's not as many of them. And are they anywhere nearby? They're still in the bottom sort of corner of the screen. Our floors appear to have been built. No, they don't. They're still waiting construction. Doesn't matter. Our mason's going to be very busy anyway. Yeah. Still waiting for the mason to come. So what I need to do here, bear with me, is we have a little dining room. It's only a makeshift dining room because I'm going to have the bigger one downstairs. But whilst we have it up here ready, we're going to use the Q menu and we're going to highlight the table and we're going to make it a dining room. Okay, we're going to make the room slightly bigger. No, we're not going to make it bigger at all. We're going to cancel that off. No. Excuse me, folks. This is where my inexperience creeps in. Sometimes I get confused by these menus. Let's try again. Right, Q, and we're going to make this a dining room. R to resize. There we go. I don't want it too big. I don't want to take over the dormitory. I think that's ample size for now. It's just a makeshift anyway until we get our dining room downstairs set up. So we're going to resize the room to be that big. We're going to press enter, and we're going to make this the meeting hall. by pressing H. So what that means is any dwarves that have nothing to do with themselves will meet in the meeting hall. When you get migrants, which we have just got now, they will stay at the edge of the screen until you create a meeting hall, because this is where they're going to come first of all, into the meeting hall. So our migrants shall come forth now, and we can see how many we're going to get when they finally arrive. There we go, there's 1, 2, 3, a chicken, 4 migrants and a chicken by the looks of it, which is reasonable. So if we go to Dwarf Therapist, I think we can import, and we can see that we have another 4 dwarves here. Okie dokie. So what I like to do is I just like to remove all their labours for now until I've got a handle on things. Right, so they can haul for now. We have another woodcutter carpenter, which might lighten the load on Elcor, although she's not overly busy at the moment. What else can you do? That's it. We have another farmer. We have plenty of farmers at the moment, but maybe we can use Dopey as a brewer and cook and take off her farming labours and have this as a dedicated farmer. Might just free her up, because we are building the kitchen level downstairs. That will soon be ready, so having her just brew and cook, we can have somebody else replace her as a farmer, so that could be useful. We have a fisher dwarf. We have no fisher dwarfs at the moment, so this is good. We can have a fisher dwarf eventually. That's lovely. And then a gem cutter gem setter. We already have one. Horston is our current gem cutter gem setter, but he's also the craft dwarf and the manager and the bro. So he's already busy, so maybe he could replace Horston's gem cutting abilities as well. So in the grand scheme of it, I suppose a nice little concoction. This guy here, rather than have him be a carpenter, because Elcor isn't overly busy at the moment, maybe we can switch him to become the wood burner and furnace operator. So we can start crafting our smelter, our furnace, and start looking at maybe producing some metal bars from our magnetite, some iron bars. This particular version of Dwarf Therapist, if you go into the roles, it gives you a percentage score of how decent these dwarves will be at certain roles. So this is the guy that I'm looking at, becoming the furnace, the wood burner. You can see his wood burning skill is pretty crap. No, it's not, it's that one, 23, yep, still pretty rubbish. Furnace operator is 30, so he's not the best out of the dwarves to do that particular role. It looks like Stukos will be more attuned to doing it, but that's tough cookies. I think that's what I'm going to use these dwarves for. He's going to be the new fisher dwarf. He's going to be the woodburner and furnace operator. He's going to be the new farmer, or she's going to be the new farmer, replacing Dopey, who will focus on brewing and cooking. And this guy is a gem setter and also a fish cleaner. Anyway, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to end the session here. We have just approached the hour mark, or just surpassed it slightly. We have some new dwarves to rename, so if you want to rename your dwarves, get your names in. And 4 of them. And in the next session, I'll have a look at these new dwarves in more detail, their traits, and see what type of dwarves they are, look at their relationships with each other and how they're going to fit into our fortress, who they might get along with, who they might not get along with. And then we'll continue to try and get ourselves prepared for the trade caravan, whilst all the time expanding our fortress. So join me next time for that. See you soon.